So today we have done a couple of projects with the placemat from Walmart. That is so cute. This is the Pioneer Woman placemat. It's a quilted placemat. It's super cute. And I was actually going to do another project with a different style placemat that they have, and they didn't have it. So that sparked me to do the project with this one. So I was like, well, this is going to be super cute. It's just going to be done a little bit different than the other one. So this is, again, the placemat from the Pioneer Woman collection at Walmart. And I got two of them. Now we have made a cosmetic bag, and we made a little card holder / wallet last week. So this week we're going to be making a pillow. So you're going to need two of these placemats, and I'm going to go ahead and use the whole placemat. I'm not going to cut it up, but I was thinking it would also be super cute, just depending on the size of the pillow that you want, to go ahead and cut like right here, you know, where it's separated right here. It'll make just under a 14-inch pillow, but then you have enough to make a little wallet. So you could get two wallets and one pillow if you just cut off this one section. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what we're going to do. And these will be perfect for like your porch pillows. So if you have like an outdoor patio set that you put pillows and stuff, be super cute, you know, if you've got like lounge chairs or hammock or something. So we're going to go ahead and take the two. Now these actually have a cute pattern on the back too, so you can really decide if you wanted it to be one side or the other, or you can put, you could have one side of the pillow this pattern and then the other side of the pattern this pillow. That way you could flip it over. So that's totally personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and make the patchwork side the same on both sides. So I'm going to put the patchwork pieces together. So I'm going to just line them up, and I'm just going to put a couple of pins, even though I'm not a big pinner, just to kind of hold it in place. I'll put one on each of the short sides. And then I'm going to make the long side. I'm going to make this kind of a rectangular pillow, so I'm going to leave an opening so I can get my hand in here, and I'm going to put two pins where I want to put this in here. So what I'm going to do, so I've got a pin on either side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sewing from this pin, and I'm going to go all the way down and leave my needle in, sew all the way to this corner, leave the needle in and turn until I get all the way around to this pin. So this area right here is not going to have any stitching whatsoever, because that's going to be the opening where I can put my hand in. We'll be able to turn it and then put some stuffing in it. So let's go ahead and put it on the machine. Let me get you all a little closer view. Whoops. I always hit that too much. So I'm going to go ahead and show you where I'm sewing here. Starting at this pin. And I'm just stitching right on the inside of the binding, and I don't want that showing. I'm going to do a little back stitch. Oops. And make sure my needle is down. I'm going to go ahead and stitch to the corner. I'm going to leave my needle in and turn it. Take my pins out as I get to them. I get to this other pin, I'm going to go ahead and stop and then do a little, so I've got to the other pin, I'm going to do some reverse stitching. Oops. That'll just lock that in place and then go ahead and cut the thread. So I've stitched all the way around, got this opening, and I'm going to go ahead and cut an angle off the corners because this is quilted and it's got that binding, it's kind of bulky. So if you just take that and just cut straight across, don't cut the stitching, and cut that bulk out so that way when you turn it, you can push the corners out better. Cut the corners first, and now we're going to reach in here and turn our placemat. Kind of holding that open and pushing with my fingers. Gotta manhand it a little bit. Shove it in there. I'm just taking my hands here and just kind of pushing this out. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my scissors. Now, they always say be very careful. I'm going to poke out the corners with my scissors, but don't, if you're using this, don't push super hard because you could easily push the scissors right through the corner of the fabric and create a hole. So I'm just, you know, kind of holding the fabric against the scissors and just pushing that. That way you can get your corners out. So if you use the point of your scissors, it just helps. And this is a little bit thicker of fabric, so it's not as risky to punch a hole in it, but there's still potential. So just be careful. Okay. Okay, so we have that sewed up, and we have our opening right here. Got our corners pushed out, and I'm going to go ahead and get my polyfill. So you get your nice big bag of polyfill right here, and you just want to grab this kind of by the handful. If you've never used this, sometimes if you get it like a big clump, you know, you want to kind of pull it apart like this. You know, that just kind of helps fluff it up. And what you want to do is grab a handful and push it to the corners. You want to kind of fill the corners first. So I'm pushing this into the corners. Turn this and go to the other corner. I'm just taking it with my hand, kind of pushing it in there just so that when it's full, my corners aren't flat and kind of deflated looking. Push that into your corners. And I'm just kind of, you know, pushing it to either side, making sure it's nice and full. And the fullness is just going to be your personal preference, how tight or, you know, fluffy you want your pillow. So this is more, you know, it's just going to be a decorative pillow, so we just want it to, it doesn't have to be super tight, but you do want to make sure it's full. and I've got this pretty good. So now as you come like right here by the opening, I'm gonna tuck this in here and just kind of spread it to the side so it's right up against the opening. For me, this is perfect. So now we'll need to close up the opening, and this has the the finished edge of the placemat already had a binding on it, so we're just going to tuck that in. Now you can close this up by hand or on the machine. I am not a fan of hand sewing unless I'm doing a needlepoint belt. So if I can do it on the machine, I'm always going to do it on the machine. And that is just personal preference. There is no right or wrong. If you don't want to see the stitches and you want to be able to hide it better, then you need to sew it by hand. So I just put some pins right here, and I'm just going to get this little edge underneath my machine and top stitch right there. So what I'm also going to do is I'm going to change the foot on my machine to a zipper foot, and then on your machine you can also move the needle, right or left. I'm going to move it over as far as I can because you're not going to have a whole lot of material under there, and you kind of got to push the pillow up against the machine and hold it. But that way, if you can get the needle over as far to the left, that will be a little bit easier just to sew this little area. So I'm going to go ahead and change my foot on my machine, and then I'm going to stitch from here to here and close it up. So for my machine, I'm just going to show you the differences. This is the regular foot, and as you can see, it's going to stitch right there in the center, and I can't go, I've got a little bit of room to move inside of that, but I've still got that outer. So if you are using the zipper foot, it's open right there, so I can get that needle and the edge of the foot out on this side. So it just makes it just a little bit easier, and anytime you can make something easier for yourself, you want to do it. I'm going to change the foot. I'm going to go ahead and get my needle over to the left. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and close this up. It also helps, if it's not super stuffed, you don't have as much bulk to battle against. So I'm going to take a few stitches, then I'm going to back stitch. And I would make sure that you keep your needle down setting on just to hold it. And I'm using my right hand, my fingers, just to hold that seam so it doesn't slide out from under me and slip. And then I'm kind of using my left hand to hold this out of my way. Okay, so I just stitched that up right there. When you have your pillow sitting out, you're not really even going to see that or notice it. And let's see. Mary, you're welcome. You're going to be at Walmart and get more of these. So something else, so you can easily, if you embroider or do vinyl, you could certainly personalize your placemat before you put the pillow together. That would be super cute. I'm all for a monogram. So you could personalize this. You could put like a little slang on it. You could put home sweet home. Whatever you wanted to, wherever you're going to place it. If you had if you had a front porch and you had a chair in your front porch, maybe you put welcome on it, because people will see that first. You could really put a lot of different things on there. And I was even thinking if you have like a patio dining set and then some chairs around it on your deck. The Pioneer Woman has tablecloth and table setting. So it'd be super cute to coordinate the table, you know, and then you have your accent pillows to put in your other outdoor chairs. So I just thought it would be super fun. Just figure out another item that we could make with these cute quilted placemats, and they are reversible. So if you wanted to sew one side, one pattern, one the other, then you could flip your pillows over, or you could coordinate and mix and match. So just something that's really cute and fun and very simple to do. Didn't even have to do any cutting. But again, if you want to make a smaller pillow, if you don't want a rectangular pillow, you want more of a square pillow, if you just cut, you know, right there, then you'd have enough to make your card holder as well. So I hope you enjoyed making that. I've got one other pillow that I'm going to show you how to make, and this is going to be from a sweatshirt. So let's put this aside. Grab my sweatshirt. Okay, so next project is, I was cleaning out my closet. Not a whole lot, just a little bit, because it was overwhelming. And obviously most everything I have is monogrammed. So somewhere where I donate my clothes, somebody's walking around with my monogram on it, I guess. I don't know. But I had this sweatshirt that I've had a while that I just don't wear anymore. But I like the applique monogram on it, and I had used a Vera Bradley napkin, and so it's Vera Bradley material to do the applique on it. So I was thinking, like, well, you know, this would be just a cute idea, because you can do this with t-shirts or sweatshirts if you've got a favorite shirt or whatnot. But I'm like, you know, this would make a really super cute monogrammed pillow. So I'm going to show you quickly how to put together a pillow from a shirt. So I'm gonna angle you all down a little bit. Okay, so I have a pillow form that's 16 inches. So I'm going to use a pillow form on this one. You could still use the polyfill or a pillow form, it doesn't matter. And it is 16 inches. I'm hoping my sweatshirt is a small. Alright. So I am going to cut right along the neckline. So, and I'm going to use my chalk wherever I put that. And I've got my nice clear ruler that I love. It's one of my favorite supplies or notions to work with is a clear ruler. Okay. And then so I'm going to mark the edge right here. And then, let's see, I'm going to put my ruler at 16 right on the top line and measure all the way down. And do that on both sides. And then just connect the lines at the bottom. Okay, so now I've got my chalk mark, and what I'm going to do now is cut through both front and back. If you are using a shirt or sweatshirt that has a design front or back and you're wanting to use both designs, I would only cut one layer at a time. So this one does not have anything on the back. Right here and get through both layers. Okay, so I've got this cut out, so I'm going to lift off the top, and I want to put the back piece, so I'm putting right sides of the sweatshirt together. So the inside, the fuzzy part is going to be on top. I'm just going to lay this on top and match up the edges. I'm just going to put a pin on either side. Again, you don't need a lot of pen, but if you feel like you need a little extra to hold, that's fine, but it's not necessary. Okay, so then I'm going to put 2 pins right here. That leaves enough room for me to turn the sweatshirt. Actually, I'm using a pillow form, so the pillow form is a little bit harder to shove in there because it's a little bit bulkier. So I'm going to make it a little wider. When you're just using polyfill, you really just need it big enough to put your hand in. So I'm going to make this a little bit wider. So I've got about 2.5 inches from the edge. So I'm going to start sewing here, go all the way around and finish just like I did the other one. Let me put my, change the foot on my machine real quick. Move that back over to center. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this over to the machine. I'm gonna start where my pin is. Do a little reverse. When you get to the corner, put your needle down. You'll raise your foot. My machine, when I have the needle down, will raise just enough to be able to turn a fabric. So if your machine does not do that, just raise the presser foot with the needle down and then turn your material. Again, needle down, raise the presser foot and turn your material. Needle down and turn. And then last side, needle down and turn. And we're going to stop right at our pen. Do a little reverse. You do your reverse stitching, that will help that when you turn it, that it doesn't come apart. Cut your thread and take it off. We need to cut our corners at an angle, cut straight across and cut that bulk out for when you turn it. Okay, so now we got that trimmed. You got your opening. Go ahead and pull the material. Turn it inside out, or right side out. And then push out your corners. I'm going to take my scissors and carefully push out the corners with the point, even just very carefully. They do make tools for that, a point turner. Push that out. Oh, and I see a little spot that I didn't have lined up, that I have a little hole, so I need to pull that back through and stitch that closed real quick. On the underneath side, I didn't have it lined up right. So now we have that all put together, and I'm going to get my little insert. I go ahead and cut the tag off, we don't need it.
out.
Okay, so now you need to take your pillow and just grab it in the center because you're going to squish it and push it into your pillow cover. And that's why this helps if you have a little bit of a wider opening. Push that in there. And grab it and just grab those corners and kind of gotta, now you'll kind of have to play with it, and if you pat on it, even if you grab this by in the corners and then bang it on your knee, that helps shove that polyfill that's already in your pillow form into the corners. Don't ask me why. People see me do that when I'm making a pillow and they're like, what are you doing? I think I'm like beating the pillow, but that just helps shimmy it, distribute it into the pillow better. So now I'm just folding this down and I'm gonna put my pen so that we can close this up. Tucking in the edges, folding that down so I have a nice finished edge. Putting a couple pins. Okay, so that's how I've got that tucked in there. And again, so this is personal preference. You can hand sew this closed or you can put it on the machine just like I did before. And I did not bring any coordinating thread out here, so I'm not going to sew it up just yet. But I just wanted to share with you how to preserve your favorite sweatshirt or t-shirt. And if we make t-shirt quilts, but if you just have a couple shirts that you like, or if you have a t-shirt quilt and you've got more than you need and you just have extra shirts, you can always make fun throw pillows. Great for teens, but you know, people that have sports or run and get t-shirts for everything. It's just a fun way to kind of preserve your favorite t-shirt if it's gotten worn and loved on enough that you don't wear it anymore, but you can't quite get rid of it. Make it into something that you can display, that you can use, make it functional. So this could be something that's put on a bed. This can be your porch pillows, just conversation pieces, super fun. You can even make this for a friend or family member. They would absolutely love it, that you have recreated their favorite t-shirt or sweatshirt.